Womp womp. Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series where we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the 26th episode of the show Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. This was the 364th episode overall, titled The Mighty Mega Battles. In the Aqua Base, alarms are going off and the Rangers are running. Explosions are going off in the city and we see a monster with batlings. The Morph Rangers are there using their rescue blasters on this guy who somehow sends it back at them. They have no idea what happened and it's apparently his chest thing. Is it because of his armor? They take out their V-Lancers and they do their Spectra Blast, but he sends it right back at them. Olympius is watching from above, calling them pathetic. Joel then just gets pissed, going forward alone, firing, and it's not doing much. Joel gets ready to fire, but Olympius fires at him from behind. He gets out of the way and Olympius hits the monster, so the Rangers do their Spectra Blast again, so Olympius and the monster bail. In the boardroom, they're explaining what happened to Mitchell and Miss Fairweather. The monster is named Infinitor, apparently, and Miss Fairweather says that Joel's fast thinking was very brave, and he sees her in a flowery hallucination. Mitchell then snaps them out of it, asking about Clark's new technology. Clark? Who's Clark? Miss Fairweather explains he's a brilliant scientist and he'll do anything for her. She leaves to go call him. Joel is immediately jealous. In the dorms, Chad makes fun of Miss Fairweather and Joel by pretending to say, "He'll do anything for me," with her photo. So funny. Joel says he's gonna go lasso her once and for all. He practices to himself in the Aqua Base as he's walking, and then he meets with some mullet-wearing homie who is looking for the lab. Joel tells him where to go, and he is sus. Then it clicks. He follows looking through the window. We find out Miss Fairweather's name is Angela. Did we know this? And they hug and he spins her around. Clark tells her that her smile is still like a ray of sunshine, and Joel's reacting perfectly to all of this happening. They hug again and Joel is crestfallen. The doors open and Joel is there. Miss Fairweather calls him over, introducing him to Clark. They'll take down Infinitor together. They shake hands and Miss Fairweather says how great it is to be able to work together and how she loves a guy with a complex mind. Joel mocks this, tossing out his flowers. They're testing new tech later and they're watching this saw blade go through a metal thing. Joel then shows up all nerdy. He wants to help with their sciencey stuff and he's acting like science is his life, and Clark says that there's just one more test. He asks Joel to help him with the wiring and Joel's wearing these big fake glasses. Joel takes on the task anyways and he can tell Clark is taking the piss out on Joel here. He then overhears Clark and Miss Fairweather make dinner plans. Clark tells Joel to hook them into standard configuration, and Joel just pretends like this is what he's done and he knows exactly what he's doing. They end up booting it up and yeah, everything explodes and the power is completely off in the Aqua Base. Feel like they should have reserve power. The lights come back up and they open the door, letting the smoke out. Joel comes out covered in soot, saying that it must have been a faulty wire. Womp womp times 2. In the Skull Cavern, Olympius somehow knows that the scientists are trying to figure out a way to kill Infinitor. How would he even know that? He sends Infinitor out. At a park, Angela and Clark are in a convertible, cheering to the mega battles. From afar with binoculars, Chad and Joel are watching this. Joel feels sick to his stomach about this, watching again. He thinks that they're about to kiss, and then he sees a sprinkler head right next to the car. The sprinkler starts somehow and Clark just puts the top on the car and Miss Fairweather is like, "Oh my god, you're brilliant." She then looks in the side mirror and she sees Joel and Chad starting the sprinklers. Oh my god, that's kind of hilarious. She gets out and she screams at Joel to turn it off. She asks what the hell is going on and Chad is just there looking awkward. Then explosions go off, hitting the car. Rest in peace, Clark. Infinitor teleports in, saying that's what happens to scientists who don't mind their own damn business. Joel holds back Miss Fairweather, and then he goes to the car himself, and Chad yells after him, like, "Dude, you guys are rescuers, this is what you do." The car then just explodes way too much behind them as he's carrying out Clark, and they both fall onto the ground. Joel and Miss Fairweather make sure he's okay, but as soon as Miss Fairweather gets over there, Joel backs off, realizing how much she cares about this guy. He puts his hat back on, and Miss Fairweather looks up at him. Joe says he'll be alright, not really knowing this at all, but then he does the most awesome instamorph ever. Joel takes on Infinitor, but his armor and shield are really working in his favor. Chad then does an amazing instamorph as well. Damn, can you guys do this more? But then they both suck and now there's batlings holding them back and they get blasted back onto the ground. Miss Fairweather then screams 861 Mega Battle. They say, oh, alright. So they type 861 into their battle boosters, activating the Mega Battles. Time for some mini battleizers for green and blue. Somehow Joel's saw arm hits a blast back. Chad's cannon puts out a fire. Cool upgrade, Chad, you got a fire hose. Joel then uses his giant spinning saw thing to kill some batlings, and it's actually pretty neat. The other three show up and they talk about how awesome the mega battles are, and is Clark wearing a wig? Infinitor comes toward Joel, but Chad freezes his foot in place, so Joel has a chance to kill Infinitor, slashing his shield in half, and then he slashes Infinitor, blowing him up. It was actually pretty cool. Jinxer's nearby and he's like, no, we still have 6 more minutes of this episode, guys. Time to make this monster giant. The Rangers call out the rail rescues, getting out the Lightspeed Megazord and the Max Solar Zord. They use their ladder arms, but it doesn't do too well for them. Max Solar Zord gets tossed around a bit too. Chad then yells for Lightspeed Megazord Saber, and then Olympius decides to darken the sky again. So this is the thing? The Lightspeed Megazord is losing power now for some reason, and Infinitor slashes them and blows them up a bit. They lose the Saber, falling over onto the ground. Time to call in the Omegazords, forming the Omega Megazord. Just start there from now on, guys. They fire the missile, hitting Infinitor's shield. They use their spear weapon, but they get hit back by Infinitor back onto the ground. They're not sure what to do, and Carter says they have one last chance. Why? They get up grabbing the Lightspeed Megazord Saber somehow, and then they use it with the Omega Megazord, slashing Infinitor, and somehow finally kills him. Alright. In the Aqua base, everyone talks about how awesome the mega battles are, and Kelsey says almost as awesome as Clark. They go to the galley to see them. They offer a seat to Joel at the table with Miss Fairweather and Clark thanks him for saving him, and he was happy to spend time with Angela. He says goodbye to her by putting a hand on her shoulder, leaving. Joel says, "You really love him, don't you?" And she says that she couldn't live without him. Joel says she deserves the best boyfriend in the world. Miss Fairweather says, "Clark is my brother?" I'm sorry. No, you don't do all that with your sibling. She gives him a kiss on the cheek as a thank you for saving him. The end. I'm sorry, no. Again, Clark is not her brother. There's no way. I mean, they might as well have just been screwing. There's no way that was just supposed to be a sibling relationship unless that dude has sex with his sister. No. They should have just said that this was like her best friend from high school or like an ex of hers. We realized we're just better as friends a long time ago or something. Not her brother, though. Nope. Mega battles are bulky messes, but I kind of love them. They really scream the year 2000 to me, and while they're not anything to really write home about, they're inoffensive enough. Next time, eggs. But until then, may the power protect you.